It was a cold night. The wind outside howled like a lost animal. Inside his small wooden house, Ethan sat in bed, wrapped in a blanket, ready to sleep. The forest outside was silent. He lived alone, far from the city, where no one ever visited after dark. But then, knocked out. The sound was soft, but clear, like someone gently tapping the front door. Ethan sat up, confused. He wasn't expecting anyone. He looked at the clock, 2:17 a.m. Who would come this late? He waited, thinking maybe he imagined it. Knocked out again. His heart beat faster. Slowly, he stood and walked to the door. He didn't open it right away. First, he looked through the small peephole. His eyes widened. Standing on the porch was a girl, but not just any girl. She had silver blue hair, glowing eyes, and strange markings on her arms. Her clothes were torn, and she looked cold, tired, and not from this world. Her skin shimmered slightly under the porch light. She was beautiful, but she didn't look human. Ethan opened the door slowly. Who are you?" he asked, his voice unsure. The girl looked at him, eyes wide with fear. She spoke in a quiet voice, almost like a whisper. "Can I sleep next to you tonight, human?" Ethan blinked. "What? I'm cold. I'm scared." "Please, just for tonight," she said, hugging herself. He didn't know what to say. This was crazy. A strange alien girl at his door asking to stay? He should say no. Call the police. But something in her voice, it wasn't dangerous. It was sad. Desperate. Like she had nowhere else to go. "You can come in," he said softly. She stepped inside, carefully, like a cat afraid of being kicked. She looked around the small living room. It was warm, simple. There was a couch, some books, a small fireplace. She stood near the heat and closed her eyes. "What's your name?" Ethan asked. She hesitated. "I don't have one anymore," she said quietly. "What do you mean?" "I lost it," she whispered. He didn't ask more. He could see she was tired, maybe even scared of him. She jumped when the heater made a click sound. "You can sleep on the couch," he offered, pointing to it. She nodded. "Thank you." Ethan gave her a blanket. She wrapped herself tightly, like she was used to sleeping with one eye open. She didn't ask for food or water, just silence. He went back to his room, but he couldn't sleep. Who was she? Why was she here? Was she in danger? Hours passed. Then creaked. His door opened slowly. He sat up fast. The girl stood in the doorway, eyes shining in the dark. "I can't sleep alone," she said. Ethan's heart pounded. "You're afraid?" She nodded. He moved over. She didn't say anything, just walked quietly to the bed and laid on the floor beside it, wrapping herself in the blanket again. He whispered, "You don't have to be scared. No one will hurt you here." She said nothing, but he saw her eyes close. Slowly, her breathing became calm. Still, Ethan stayed awake, staring at the ceiling. Who was this girl? Why did she call him human, like she wasn't one? What had happened to her? And why did it feel like something or someone was looking for her? Outside, the wind stopped. The forest became too quiet, and Ethan had a strange feeling. This was only the beginning. The sun rose slowly, casting golden light through the windows of Ethan's cabin. Birds chirped softly outside. It should have felt like a peaceful morning, but Ethan woke to a scream. He jumped out of bed and ran into the living room. The alien girl was crouched in the corner, her arms over her head, her body shaking. She was staring at the sunlight on the floor like it was a monster. "Turn it off," she cried. "Please make it stop." Ethan pulled the curtains shut fast. The room went dark again. She stopped shaking. Her breathing slowed. She looked at him with wide eyes, still terrified. "They can see me through the light. That's how they search. Through brightness." Ethan stared at her. Who's looking for you?" She didn't answer. just pulled the blanket over her head like a scared child. He sat down across the room, unsure of what to do. "Are you hungry?" he asked gently. She didn't respond. Ethan went to the kitchen and made some toast and warm tea. When he returned, she was sitting up, eyes fixed on him, watching every move. Like she didn't trust him yet, he placed the plate in front of her. "It's safe." Slowly, carefully, she picked up the toast. She sniffed it first, then took a bite, her eyes closed. A tiny smile appeared for the first time. "It's warm," she whispered. "Warm food. I forgot what that felt like." Ethan smiled. "You can have more." She finished the toast quickly, as if someone might take it from her. She drank the tea slowly, carefully holding the mug with both hands. Then she spoke again. "Do you sell people here?" Ethan's face changed. "What? Sell them, or trade them, like in the Blackports?" He shook his head quickly. No, we don't do that here." She looked confused. "So, you keep them as workers?" Ethan stood silent. His chest tightened. "Where are you from?" he asked. She looked down. "A ship. A long time ago. Then I was taken, sold. I ran. Now I'm here." Ethan sat down beside her, not too close. "No one will sell you, or hurt you, I promise." She didn't answer, but her eyes softened. She slowly reached out and touched the edge of the blanket on his lap. "You're warm too," she said. "Different." Ethan didn't know what to say. She was like a child and a warrior at the same time. Scared but strong. Broken but trying to survive. Suddenly, a strange noise came from outside. Tick dash tick dash tick. The girl froze. She dropped the mug. Her eyes turned sharp. She crawled toward the window on all fours like a predator. She opened the curtain just a little and peeked outside. "What is it?" Ethan asked. She whispered. "It's not them. Not yet. But someone's looking. Looking for you?" She nodded. "They always look. Always search." Ethan felt a chill down his spine. Whoever they were. They weren't human. He turned on the old radio to check the news. Static. Then a strange buzz. Then a clear signal, unidentified. Aerial object seen over mountain ridge. Military denies contact. The girl looked at him. "They're close," she said. Ethan turned off the radio. "You can stay here. I'll protect you." She tilted her head. "Why?" "What do you mean? Why help me? I'm not like you. I'm broken." He stood and walked toward her. "Because no one deserves to be hunted." For a long time, she said nothing. Then, she stood and took one step closer. "My name is Alari," she whispered. "But I don't want them to hear it again, so call me nothing." Ethan nodded. "Then I'll call you Safe." That night, she didn't wait by the door. She followed him into the room again, and this time, she asked, "Can I sleep next to you again, human?" He smiled. Yes, but as they lay in silence, both half awake, Ethan couldn't shake one thought. If she was running from something this dangerous, how long did he have before it came knocking? It started with a whisper. In the middle of the night, Ethan woke up to soft, strange sounds. Not English. Not any language he knew. It was like a song. Broken, fearful, and full of pain. He sat up slowly. The girl Alari was tossing in her sleep on the floor beside his bed. Her fists were clenched. Her body trembled. Then, suddenly, in broken English, she cried out, "Please, don't chain me again. Please." Ethan's heart dropped. She was dreaming. Or remembering. She whispered more. Things that didn't make sense. Names, places, screams. Then she gasped and sat up straight. Her eyes were glowing. For 1 second, her body wasn't just glowing, it was shining like starlight. Then the light faded. She looked around, breathing hard. Her eyes locked onto Ethan's face. Her voice cracked. "Did I hurt you?" Ethan shook his head. "No, but you were dreaming." She looked down. Not dream, memory. Ethan didn't speak. He could tell she was scared of herself. Not just her past. She crawled back under the blanket and turned her face away. Sometimes I lose control when I sleep. That's why they kept me in a dark box. It was safer. Ethan didn't ask who they were. Not yet, but he had to know more. The next morning, he made breakfast. Pancakes. Alari sat at the table, slowly eating while keeping one eye on the window. Last night, he said carefully. You said something about chains. She paused. I was a gift. What? She didn't look at him. My planet was taken. My people sold. I was born royal. That made me valuable, pretty, powerful, a trophy. Ethan gripped the table edge. They sold you like an object? She nodded. I escaped. I hid. I changed names, changed faces. But they always find me, so I stopped trusting everyone. But you trust me. Alari looked at him. I don't know why, I just do. Then she added, that's dangerous for both of us. Ethan leaned forward. I don't care. You're safe here. She smiled softly, but it didn't last long. Suddenly, her head snapped toward the wall. Her body stiffened. They're nearby. Ethan stood. How do you know? I feel them. Ethan grabbed his binoculars and stepped outside. Alari stayed low, hidden behind the door. Nothing at first. Then movement in the sky. A dark shape passed behind the clouds. No wings. No sound. It hovered for a second. Then vanished. Ethan came back inside. It's real. Something is out there. She nodded. They're scanning, hunting. He closed the door, locked it. Closed the curtains. What do they want? Me, she said. But not just me. My blood. Ethan blinked. Your blood? I carry something inside. It makes them afraid. It's old. Ancient. They tried to take it out of me. Couldn't. Now they want to destroy it. And me with it. She looked down at her hands. Sometimes when I sleep, it tries to wake up. Ethan remembered the glowing light. The way her skin had shimmered. She wasn't just a runaway. She was something powerful. Something hidden. A secret that someone wanted buried. Why did you come here? He asked softly. I followed a map, not paper, not digital. It was in my mind. A feeling. A message from someone long ago. It led me here. To me? I think so, she whispered. Ethan was speechless. What did this mean? Why him? I don't want to run anymore, she said. But if they come, I need to be ready. Then we get ready together, he replied. That night, she didn't wait to ask. She walked into his room, holding a small metal cube. What's that? He asked. My memory, she said. You should see what I've seen. She placed the cube near his head and light filled his eyes. Ethan's mind was suddenly full of images, chains, screams, planets on fire, a child locked in a glass box, alien creatures with cold eyes, a girl alone in space, floating, forgotten. And finally his cabin. Her hand reaching for his door. Then it all went dark. He opened his eyes. She was still beside him. You saw? She whispered. He nodded slowly, voice shaking. Yeah, I saw. Alari looked sad. Now you know. If you still want me to leave, I'll go. Ethan didn't even think. You stay, we fight, together. And somewhere far above Earth, a dark ship moved through the stars, heading straight for them. The radio wasn't meant to speak that night. Ethan had only turned it on out of habit. It was old, dusty, slow to start, full of static. Something his father left behind. A useless hobby, some said, but that night, it spoke. Not in words. In pulses. Buzz. Buzz. He froze. The rhythm wasn't random. It sounded like a code. Like someone or something was knocking through the airwaves. Alari stepped into the room, her face pale. Turn it off, she whispered. Ethan hesitated. What is it? She stepped closer, eyes locked on the radio. Her voice was low and sharp. That's not Earth's frequency. He frowned. What do you mean? She pointed at the radio with a shaking hand. It's them. They're searching. As if on cue, the static changed again. Buzz, buzz. TCHHK. Buzz. A deep hum echoed through the cabin walls. Then the lights flickered. Ethan rushed to the window. Outside, the forest was bathed in strange light. Not sunlight, not moonlight. It was greenish. Sickly, unnatural. A soft vibration moved through the air, as if the earth itself was holding its breath. Then, a shadow passed over the trees. Large, silent, watching. Ilari whispered, looking for my signal. My body still carries a beacon. They must have locked it inside me when I was still theirs. Ethan turned toward her. Then we block it, hide you. She shook her head. No use once the signal is active. They always find it. He looked back at the radio. Then we send our own message. Alari's eyes widened. To who? To anyone who's listening, Ethan said. He didn't know if help would come. But he had to try. He powered up the ham radio again and spoke. Slowly, carefully. This is Earth. If someone out there can hear me, we have one of yours. She's not a weapon. She's not a slave. She's alive. And she's free now. You want her, you go through me. Ilari stared at him. You just declared war, she whispered. Ethan shrugged. They started it. Suddenly, the radio let out a sharp screech, and a new voice came through. But it wasn't a human voice. It was cold, metallic, hollow. Return the subject, or Earth will burn. Then silence. The lights shut off. The fire in the fireplace died. The air grew still. Ilari fell to her knees. They're coming faster now. That signal. It activated the final lock. Ethan knelt beside her. What does that mean? She looked into his eyes. They're not just coming for me anymore. They're coming for Earth. He felt the weight of her words. It wasn't just about protecting her now. It was about protecting everyone. Is there a way to shut off the beacon inside you? She pulled out the small cube again. Maybe, but I need something stronger than memory. I need my truth. What do you mean? She looked at him with tears forming. They erased pieces of me, stole memories, changed who I was, but something here on this planet calls to me. Something old, hidden. Ethan thought for a moment. There are caves nearby. Old carvings. No one knows where they came from. People say it's just myth. Her eyes lit up. Take me there, she said. Now. That night, with the sky turning red in the distance, they hiked through the forest. Ilari didn't act afraid anymore. She moved with purpose. The moon lit their path as they reached the cave entrance. Inside, the walls shimmered faintly, as if something ancient had touched them long ago. Ilari stepped forward, placing her hand on the stone. Symbols lit up beneath her, palm glowing softly. Her body reacted. She gasped. Her skin glowed. Her eyes filled with light. Then she fell. Ethan caught her. She looked up at him, barely awake. I remember now who I am. What they fear. Then her eyes closed, and deep in space, a dark fleet changed course toward Earth. They had heard her signal. And now, they were coming to erase the last piece of what they tried to destroy long ago. She was not breathing. Ethan held Ilari in his arms, her glowing skin slowly fading to pale gray, her pulse gone, her body cold. The strange carvings on the cave walls were still lit, but she wasn't moving. No, wake up, Ethan whispered, shaking her gently. She didn't respond, but the cave did. The walls began to hum. Light pulsed from deep inside the stone, and a low sound filled the air like a heartbeat. Not his, not hers. Something ancient. Then suddenly, her body arched, and she gasped. Her eyes opened, blazing with gold fire, and her voice was no longer just hers. I am not only Ilari, she said slowly. I am what they fear. Ethan backed away slightly, startled. She stood up, floating an inch above the ground. The air around her shimmered like heat waves. The markings on her skin now glowed fully, patterns, symbols, languages no human could read. They were alive. He asked in a whisper, "What are you?" Her voice softened, and she lowered to the ground. "I didn't know before. They erased me. I was born not just of my people, but of something older. I carry blood that cannot be copied. Blood that remembers things even I forgot." "Why are they so afraid of it?" "Because it doesn't obey," she said. "It resists control, and it evolves." She looked at him. "My blood is not just alive. It learns." Ethan tried to understand. "You mean, it adapts?" "Yes, when they tried to hurt me, it remembered. When they caged me, it broke chains. When they silenced me, it stored voices. And when I met you, it listened." Listened. To what? To kindness, to peace. It saw that not all beings want power. Ilari walked deeper into the cave and placed her hand on a glowing panel. From the wall, a strange metal structure emerged, a small needle, thin as a hair. "I need to know how far they went. What they changed. What they hid inside me," she said. Ethan stepped forward. "That looks dangerous." She nodded. "It is, but I must do it." She pushed the needle into her arm. Her body trembled. Her eyes rolled back. Then, memories rushed in. She saw herself in a white room. Wires in her veins, scientists watching. Pain that never ended. Screams from others like her children taken. Sold, experimented on. A vision of Earth. But not now, a long time ago. Before humans knew what stars were. A starship massive. Beautiful, falling from the sky, crashing into the Earth's ocean. Inside it, someone like her, dying, carrying something precious. Ilari screamed as the visions ended. She collapsed. Ethan rushed to her again. When she opened her eyes this time, tears ran down her face. "I know now," she whispered. "Part of me was born here, my blood. It carries memory from the one who crashed on this planet centuries ago. The one who passed it down." Ethan froze. "You're connected to Earth?" She nodded. "That's why I was drawn here. Not by accident. By blood. By destiny." Evan stood up, stunned. "Then they're not just after you. They want to erase a secret buried here for hundreds of years." She stood shakily. "Yes, and now. They're almost here." Suddenly, the ground shook. From outside the cave, a sound like thunder rolled through the forest. Boom dash, boom dash, boom. The trees trembled. Ethan ran outside and looked up. In the night sky, dark clouds parted. A massive shadow was descending. Bigger than a stadium. No lights. No sound. Just one large ship, shaped like a dagger, slowly lowering through the atmosphere. Ilari stepped beside him. Her voice calm. "They don't send warnings. They send collectors." Ethan clenched his fists. "They'll have to go through me." She looked at him, her expression softening. "You're brave, human." He smirked. "You can call me Ethan, you know." She smiled faintly. "Then I'll fight with you, Ethan." But her smile faded as her nose started to bleed blue, glowing blood dripping onto her hand. He caught her before she fell. "What's happening?" "The truth woke up," she said, "but it's killing me. Unless I use it." "Use it how?" She looked into his eyes. "I need to become what they fear most." Then her skin began to glow brighter than ever before. And far above, the alien ship opened its mouth, ready to swallow Earth whole. Asterisk. The stars vanished, not because the sky was cloudy, but because something massive had blocked them. Ilari and Ethan stood at the edge of the forest, staring upward. A dark ship, shaped like a crescent moon, hovered silently above them. Its surface was blacker than the night. It didn't shine. It didn't hum. It just existed like a silent promise of death. And then, the lights began to fall. Thin beams of blue light shot down from the ship, touching the ground in a perfect circle around the forest. Each light left behind a tall humanoid figure covered in silver armor, faces hidden behind smooth glass. Masks. The hunters had arrived. Alauri's body was glowing faintly. Her breath was shallow. Her blood, it was heating up again. Ethan could see the pain in her eyes, but she stayed standing. "They found me," she whispered. "No," Ethan said. "They think they found prey, but they're about to meet a fight." Alauri shook her head. "They're not soldiers. They're takers. They don't talk. They don't stop. If they touch me, I vanish." Ethan grabbed the old shotgun from his cabin. "Then we don't let them touch you." Suddenly, the nearest hunter moved too fast in 1 second. It stood 5 feet from them in another second. It raised its hand glowing with red light, but Alauri stepped forward. "No," she said. Her voice shook the ground. Her body lit up completely, gold, blue and silver light bursting out of her skin like waves. The hunter staggered back, its armor cracking. Then it shattered into pieces. Ethan's jaw dropped. What was that?" She was breathing heavily. "My blood. It remembers how to fight." More hunters stepped forward. Alauri took a deep breath. Her hands rose, and the ground cracked beneath her feet. Trees bent. Wind roared. The sky turned white with power, but her body trembled. Ethan ran to her. "You can't fight them all. Your body won't survive." She turned to him. "Then help me, not with weapons, but with your will." He didn't understand, but he trusted her. He held her hand. In that moment, something strange happened. Her light passed into him. Not pain, not heat, but memory. He saw visions, her childhood, the cage, the escape, the voices of others like her, whispering through time, through blood. Then power surged through both of them, together. They stood. The hunters attacked. But this time, Ethan saw their movements before they happened. He dodged. He pushed Alauri aside just as a red beam shot at her, and she spun around and sent a wave of energy that lifted 3 hunters into the air, breaking them apart. Alauri fell to her knees. Her nose bled again. Ethan stood beside her, firing 1 shot at a time. Not to kill, but to protect. Then silence. The last hunter stepped forward. It was taller, heavier. Its armor was black and pulsing. It didn't speak. It didn't raise a weapon. It just stared at Alauri. She whispered, "That's the collector. It only comes when I'm ready to be taken." The collector moved slowly, each step making the ground vibrate. Alauri stood up, blood on her face, hands glowing. Ethan stepped in front of her. The collector stopped. It tilted its head, and finally, it spoke in a cold, deep voice. "You have awakened too early. You are incomplete." "I am enough," she said. "You are dangerous. I am free. You will not survive." "Then neither will you," she whispered. She raised both hands, but this time her light was different. Not just glowing. It pulsed like a living heart, beating, growing, rising. The collector charged. Alauri screamed, not in fear, but with power. A flash. A blast. Light exploded in all directions. Ethan was thrown back into a tree. He hit the ground hard. Everything went quiet. Dust filled the air. He coughed, eyes blurry, calling her name. "Alauri." No answer. He pushed himself up, slowly, painfully. Then he saw her, standing in the center of a crater. Alone. The collector was gone. The other hunters were shattered pieces. She looked at him, barely standing, arms shaking. "I stopped them. For now." He ran to her, caught her as she fell. "You did more than that," he said softly. "You became what they fear." She smiled weakly, then passed out in his arms. Above them, the dark ship in the sky began to shake. The battle wasn't over, but something had changed. The hunters now knew Earth was no longer unprotected. It had chosen her, and she had chosen to fight back. The warship fled. No sound. No threats. Just silence. As if the universe itself had been stunned. Ethan sat on the ground, holding Allery's body close. Her skin was warm, but she hadn't opened her eyes in hours. He had bandaged her arms, wiped the blood from her face, and kept whispering, "You're safe now. You did it. Just wake up." But she didn't move. The crater around them was still glowing. Trees had been flattened. The air smelled of ash and stars. The earth had scars now, but it had survived because of her. He looked at the sky. The giant ship that once filled the heavens was now a distant shadow, fading slowly into the black. The enemy wasn't destroyed, but it was scared. And sometimes fear was enough to win time. Ethan gently brushed hair away from Allery's face. "Please, I still don't know how to say goodbye." A small breath escaped her lips. Then her fingers twitched. Ethan froze. Then she whispered, "Not goodbye. Not yet." He smiled. "You scared me." She opened her eyes, weak but glowing. "You stayed." "Of course I did." She looked around, confused. "They left?" "They ran." Allery blinked. "That's new." Ethan helped her sit up. "You did something they didn't expect. You showed them what happens when someone stops running." She smiled weakly. "Then maybe I'm finally free." There was silence for a long time. The stars came back. The wind moved gently through the trees. Then Allery said, "I don't have to keep hiding anymore, but I don't know what comes next." Ethan looked at her. "You stay. We build something together." She stared at him as if trying to believe it. "I don't know how to live a normal life," she whispered. He nodded. "That's okay. We'll make a new kind of normal." Allery leaned her head on his shoulder. "You should be afraid of me. You've seen what I can become." "I'm not afraid of you," he said. "I'm afraid of losing you." Tears fell from her eyes. "No one ever said that to me before." In the following days, the world began to notice strange things. Radar systems picked up a craft that no nation claimed. Satellite feeds were scrambled near the forest. Scientists argued over electromagnetic pulses that caused birds to flee and rivers to shift slightly. But no answers came. Ethan told no one. Neither did Allery. They fixed the cabin, replanted the trees, spent long evenings by the fire. Sometimes she would stare at the stars, wondering if they would come back. Sometimes Ethan would catch her crying in her sleep, but most nights they laughed. Allery tried pancakes again and burned the first 3. She learned to play guitar, even though it made no sense to her. Ethan taught her how to paint. She taught him how to listen to the wind. One night, she stood in the doorway, watching him sleep. She whispered, "Can I still sleep next to you, human?" Ethan, eyes closed, smiled. "You never have to ask again." She climbed in beside him. No chains. No fear. Only warmth. Only peace. But deep in space, the enemy did not forget. They would return one day, and when they did, they would find a different Earth. An Earth that fought for one of its own, because she had chosen to stay.